Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to week 18, Bhakti Riksha. I welcome all of you on this nice Sunday evening. Hope all of you are having a nice weekend. So let's start with our class with prayers to Srila Prabhupada. And I hope all of you had nice Radha Ashtami also. Any of you have special pictures, videos of your Radha Ashtami, or you've taken some nice pictures of your puja, or you visited the temple, or you made some nice bhoga, you can share with me. I can put it in the group.
Yeah, sure, Mataji. Sure, we'll do.
Sure. So let's begin our session with prayers to Srila Prabhupada. I offer my respects to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna. O Spiritual Master, I offer my respects to you. You are servant of your Guru, Saraswati Goswami. And you're kindly preaching the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and delivering the Western countries. Panchatattva Mantra. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktivinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. So, as usual, we begin our class with Nectar of Holy Name, the glorification of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So, sometime back, we had a special class on 9 process of devotional service. So, in Shastras and scriptures, it has been recommended that there are 9 process by which, if by following any of which, we can become perfect and we can advance in spiritual life and finally go back to the spiritual world. So we can follow any of these processes. I don't know how many of you remember. So a quick recap on that, the 9 process. So the first is hearing about the glories of Supreme Lord. And in the case of deaf, you can see the class, you can attend the classes and try to understand about the Supreme Lord. Second is chanting. Third is always remembering the Lord. That means no matter what activity you're doing, you're always remembering. At the back of the mind, your mind is always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. Fourth is worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord. Fifth is deity worship, worshipping the Vigraha or the Murti form of the Lord. Sixth is praying to the Lord. Seventh is becoming servant of the Lord. Like how Hanumanji always thought that, I am a servant of Lord Ram. So that was one example that we discussed. Eighth is becoming friend of the Lord. Like how Arjun and Krishna, they were friends of each other. And the last process is completely surrendering to the Lord. So these were the 9 processes that we discussed. So in the PPT that I have, which I will be sharing you after some time, I have again put in the link also. Anybody wants again to go back and read this PPT, you can do that. I will share it in the group also if anybody wants to read it again. Anyways, I'll share it in the PPT. Once you receive it, you can read this entire 9 processes. So now what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says is that simply by chanting the name of Krishna, one becomes free from all reactions of a sinful life. So suppose somebody is very sinful in his past life. So simply by chanting, all his reactions will be removed. So even if one does not follow these 9 processes and one simply chants, then both are equivalent. So even if nobody is following these 9 processes, no problem. If you are simply chanting, that is equally powerful. So somebody might think, oh my God, I cannot follow, my life is so difficult. I cannot follow these processes. So no problem. You simply chant because Mahaprabhu himself guarantees that even if you don't follow these process, don't worry, you simply chant the holy name and that will take care of all your sinful reactions. Right? So this is what it is in the glorification of holy name. And as you all know that our today's topic is discussion on demigods or devatas. Right? So let's begin our class on that session. So this world is being managed and maintained by intelligent person. So in every sphere of life, for example, in a school,
Sorry, Mataji. Hello,
yes,
Mataji.
yes, Saurabh, tell me.
Can you repeat what you said? That this world is being managed by one intelligent person?
By some intelligent people, like in any sphere of life, whether it is office or home, there are some intelligent people who manage the affair, right? For example, a school is controlled and maintained by the principal and the teachers. An office or a company runs smoothly because there is a CEO or a managing director, MD of a company or the boss. So that's why a company does very well. He puts in all rules and regulations. Similarly, even our own house, on our own home, we see our parents that how nicely they are managing the entire house. So we have mother, she gets up in the morning and she cooks, she cleans, she worships, she sends children to school or to college or to office, and the father at the same time is going out, working and getting money. So it's a balance between both the parents and managing. Why there is the home is function so smoothly because both the parents are managing the affairs of the household. So similarly, we have the Supreme Lord also. So Krishna has a huge government. So I'll quickly share 2 slides. Here I would like you to have a look at Mahavishnu and see the picture. So I will explain it again, but just have a look at the picture. First slide will present that how different people in different communities are looking after home or office, how things are getting managed. And second picture, you look at Lord Vishnu. So all of you had a look at the picture. Did all of you had a look at the picture? So here, let's understand that in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that from the body of Mahavishnu, millions of universes come out. So it is not just the place that we are living. So our Earth and our planets, you can say it is one universe. Similarly, it is said that there are millions of such universes. And therefore, the government of Supreme Lord consists not of one, two, or three planets, but millions of planets and millions of universes.
Sorry, Mataji, just to clarify,
Yeah,
you're
so
saying the government.
the government, like I initially I said that Krishna has a huge government. Like, the Prime Minister runs a government. Similarly, Krishna also runs a government. So it's like, so
And
Krishna
the
is,
government has the planets, not people,
yes,
not the devas.
yes. So it's a comparative actually. It's to make them understand. It's like a comparative. Like how a prime minister will function, rule a country. So Krishna is looking after from his body. You saw the picture that millions of planets and millions of universes are coming. And Krishna is, he is the Supreme Lord. He is the controller of this entire universe. All the universes are being controlled by Krishna. But now the interesting thing is that he is not directly connected with managing affairs of material world. It's not that he himself comes and he looks after our personal lives, or he looks after how much rain is coming, or where should I, give famine, or where should I give water. So he does not interfere with the daily affairs of the material world. So then how does this function happens? how does our universe functions, how it so smoothly, the planets, the sun, the moon, how everything is functioning so perfectly. If Krishna is not personally looking after it, then how things are managed happening so smoothly. Every day the sun rises at a perfect time, the sun sets at a perfect time, the coming of summers, coming of winters, monsoons, everything happens so perfectly. I mean, if Krishna is Supreme Lord and if Krishna himself is not looking after these affairs, then how these things are functioning? So therefore, this for the smooth functioning of this material world of or all of the universe, Krishna appoints demigods or devatas. So who are devatas or who are demigods? So like us, demigods are also devotees. But because of their extreme pious activities, because there are certain people who are very, very pious. So after death, they are promoted to higher planets. So we are living in one planet, but beyond us, above us, there are many planets. So these people, these devatas or demigods, they live in these higher planets and they live a very long life and they enjoy there. And they work under the direction of Supreme Lord. So whatever Krishna tells them to do, they do. Whatever whatever portfolio they have, like a prime minister will have a cabinet minister. The prime minister has ministers working under him, and prime minister is going to decide who is going to have the role of education, or which minister will have the function of finance, or which minister will look after the defense of the country. So the prime minister decides who is going to do what role, right? So similarly, Krishna also decides which demigod will have what duty. So these demigods are given positions of power and responsibility to manage this material world. So I hope it is clear. I'm taking it slowly. Is it all clear?
Yes, yes, Mataji. It's all clear.
Okay.
It's good.
So I'll give you a few examples of the demigods. For example, at night we see the moon and there is beautiful
There are some
light which comes.
responses, Mataji. They're like Durga and all
Right,
these.
right. So few design examples are like we have Chandradev. Chandra is like the moon god whose responsibility is to take care of the moon and the sunlight, the moonlight which is distributed. Then we have Indra who looks after the rain, the clouds. Every year, if there are no rains, then you imagine how are we going to eat food? The crops will all die. So Indra looks after rain. The heat is distributed by sun. And the air is looked after by Vayu, Vayu, Vayu. So Durga Devi, as somebody was mentioning, she has the power to create, maintain, and destroy. However, she cannot act independently of Krishna. So she also works under the command of Krishna. And we all just now Ganesh Chaturthi went. So even Ganesha removes obstacles and evil influences from our life. And it is said that Ganesha gets all his power from Narsimhadev. So Narsimhadev is none other than Lord Krishna himself. So the power to remove obstacles from our life is given to us by Lord Ganesh, and Lord Ganesh gets his power from Narsimhadev. So let's look at these slides. So clear so far? So now let us talk about Lord Shiva. Many people are confused about his position. So it is said that Lord Shiva is one of the prime controllers of this world, of this material world. He is actually known as the greatest Vaishnava or greatest devotee of Lord Vishnu. So Lord Shiva, actually, he is neither an ordinary living being like us, and also he is not like a demigod. So Lord Shiva has a very unique position. So therefore, how should we approach Lord Shiva? A lot of people question, how should we, if Krishna is the Supreme Lord, then how do we pray to Lord Shiva? So a simple thing is that we should pray to Lord Shiva because he is also a great devotee of Krishna. So we should pray to Lord Shiva that, oh Lord Shiva, please give us bhakti, please give us love for Krishna so that we can advance spiritually. So actually, that is the right way. Even if you want to, observe Shivaratri or any other festival of Lord Shiva, no issue, no problem. Only thing is, you have to understand that you cannot think that Lord Shiva is Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is Supreme Lord, and Lord Shiva is a greatest devotee of Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. So if we ever pray to Lord Shiva, and there is nothing wrong in that, the only thing we have to remember is always bow down to him and pray that the way you worship Lord Krishna, the way you have a devotion for Krishna, please give that devotion to me also. Please empower me. Please guide me on the right way to worship Krishna. Right? So demigods are very powerful people. We should not think that just because they are not as powerful, as not great as Krishna, so we should just reject them, or we should, insult them, or we should, we should not care for them. So they are very powerful because the power comes from directly from Krishna. But can they give liberation? Can they help us in breaking this cycle of birth and death? So let us remember that demigods are very powerful, but they are ordinary people like us. Because, as I said earlier, that because of they had performed extreme pious activities, so that is why they went to higher planets. So even if, like for example, Lord Brahma, he's the creator of this universe. So even Lord Brahma, we read in Bhagavad Gita, has a temporary lifespan. Although that lifespan is for millions of years, but that position of Brahma is also temporary. So we learn from Gita again that after 4 yugas, new Brahma also gets appointed. So Brahma's position also changes. So the demigods can give us only temporary material benefits, but they cannot give us liberation because they themselves are not liberated. So as I said, that even Brahma's life is also comes to an end, even if for after millions of years, but still he is not immortal. He doesn't live eternally. So if somebody who is immortal, who's mortal, how can he give us blessing of being liberated? How can he give us the blessing that you come out from the cycle of birth and death? For example, Hiranyakashipu, father of Prahlad, he had performed, severe austerity, severe sadhana for Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma, he asked that, may I never die. I should not die. So Brahma said, how can I give you this boon? Because I myself am not immortal. I will also die one day. So I cannot grant you this wish. So the only person who can break this cycle of birth and death for us is Lord Krishna. So people are actually generally under the impression that demigods are powerful, but they are not aware that Krishna is above all of them. And they think there is no difference between Krishna and other demigods. And they think that worshipping Krishna is equal to worshipping any other Devi Devta. So if you are worshipping Durga Ma or Lord Ganesh or Lord Shiva or any other demigod, they think it is equivalent to worshipping Krishna, which is wrong concept. So we must remember that demigods are not different forms of God, but they are God's different parts. Like there is Krishna, they all are parts of Krishna. But you cannot say that all of them are as great or like they are not Krishna himself. You cannot say that the ministers in the government have the same power as the prime minister. We can't say that, right? So similarly, we cannot say that demigods have the same power as Krishna has. So then why are people worshipping demigods? What is there that when the people know that we will not get liberation, that why do people worship demigods? So the point is that when we worship the Devi Devtas, we get immediate results. So all of us, we are off after sense enjoyment and we want some, in order to satisfy our senses, we want immediate results. For example, somebody wanting good education will worship Goddess Saraswati. Or somebody is unwell, probably they will worship sun god or Shani god. Or somebody is wanting a beautiful husband or a nice wife, They might worship goddess Parvati. So such people who want immediate results, they are not interested in Krishna for permanent solution of life and death. I mean, their desire is not coming out from the cycle of birth and death. Their desire is only temporary satisfaction of their desires. So an intelligent person, that intelligent person will know. So there are, crores of Devi Devta in Hindus, and for each thing there'll be a different Devta, different desire, different senses, the different Devta. So point is, how many of them are you going to worship? How many of them can you satisfy? So if you want to worship demigods to satisfy individually one by one, don't you think that's going to be a very difficult task? So what's wrong? We can worship devatas and we can worship Krishna simultaneously. What is wrong? So Mahaprabhu said in this context that how we are, there is a plant and we pour water on that plant. So this example I've given many times earlier also. So when you go in your house, if you go and water a plant, you don't go and pick up each and every leaf or each and every branch or trunk of the plant and water separately, do you? You just put water on the roots. Similarly, when you look at your own stomach, so you simply have to eat food, and from the stomach, the whole body gets nourished. The whole body gets the energy. And when you give water to the roots of the plant, the entire plant becomes healthy and it grows very nicely. Similarly, by worshipping Krishna, we are automatically satisfying the demigods. Why? Because they all are parts of the Supreme Lord. So Krishna is the root of everything. Right. So that brings us to the end of I'll just quickly share the slides with everybody if you want to have a look at it. We can start with our question answers.
I'll just take 2 minutes, drink some
Yeah,
water.
sure. Yeah, sure. Yes, Swara, we can start with the questions.
Hare Krishna. So the session today was, it was interesting, and it was also very new. A lot of thoughts in my head after, the session today. Like you said, Brahma, after 4 yugas would die and there would be a new Brahma. Similarly, will Shiva also die and there'll be
No,
a new Shiva? Because
no,
there's
no,
a,
no.
the first thing is the moon, which is there on his forehead. What is the meaning of that? And also the things he wears, I'm forgetting the name of those seeds, the fruit seeds which he wears. What is the purpose of those things?
Does he wear sheets or he wears those kankals, those the skeletons?
No, Mataji, aren't there those tree? It's a product of a tree which Shiva wears, no? Just like
Okay.
all the
Ah,
sadhus
Rudraksh,
also, Rudraksh.
Rudraksh, Rudraksh, Rudraksh.
So these questions, Mataji, like you
Okay.
said.
So Shiva, no, Shiva does not die. Like Shiva's position is not temporary, like Brahma. Now, as far as the things he wears, I myself I have not done much research. Like for the moon, there is a story of why he has a moon, crescent moon on his head. There is actually a pastime regarding that. And even for Rudraksh, also there is a story. I don't think I'll have sufficient time to narrate those stories. But if I get a chance, I will definitely, we can take a separate class on Lord Shiva. There are actually stories connected to the Rudraksh and the Ganges, the Ganga and the moon. All there are different stories regarding why Lord Shiva is, wearing all those things. Yeah, so I can narrate them sometime later.
Sure, Mataji. Next time when
Hare
you
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Uh, okay, Mataji. So Swati Mataji is saying that she knows about Krishna. She knows about the Puri Jagannath Vigrahas, and she knows about Shiva. She wants to know about the other demigods.
Okay, as in the story about them, the Chandra, the Vayu, and
I think she means that what are the other gods and the stories about them. Yes.
yeah. So as a quick slide, I told you like the Chandra, the Surya, the Vayu are different, or the Durga Devi or Ganesha, or even the nine what do you call them? Navagraha. like, different planets are ruled by different deity, the sun god, moon, Brihaspati, and we worship the Navagrahas, right? So there is, I mean, probably not this is not the class which will be sufficient to explain all these, but they are, like, as I said, that they are very powerful people. They were very pious people who were promoted to high
Next time,
planets.
Mataji. Next time,
Yeah,
whenever possible.
definitely.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hmm. So she started the first session from Zoom. I mean, from the 10th of September. That was the first session. And before that, she used to, pray according to the days. Somvar, Ravivar, the different.
Right, right.
So joining the classes, she learned a lot of different things and it has been confusing. So Shiva, Krishna, who to basically focus on, who to pray.
Yeah, that is what we tell in our classes, that we'll actually all the knowledge about why we worship Krishna, everything is there in Bhagavad Gita. Why we constantly repeat that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, because Krishna himself has given us sufficient evidence of why Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So I'm sure there is nobody in India or across the world who will deny the authority of Bhagavad Gita. Everybody accepts Bhagavad Gita, right? I'm sure even you accept Bhagavad Gita. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself has given so many examples of so many reasons that how he is the Supreme Lord. And not just Krishna, the the various acharyas of our Hindu tradition, hundreds of acharyas, they have also accepted that Krishna is Supreme Lord. Then Brahma, whom we were just talking about, Brahma was the first person to whom the entire knowledge about the creation, about Bhagavad Gita was given by Krishna. So he himself declares that Krishna is the, the Supreme Lord. So now, looking at this today's presentation, we understood that Krishna, if he is the Supreme Lord and there are other Devi Devatas who are under him, they work according to his command, then it is up to you now whom to pray. So whether you want to just worship the root, whether just want to worship the source, or you want to worship all Devi Devatas. So there should not actually be any confusion. So not just me or not just in ISKCON, but then entire Gita narrates that how Krishna is the Supreme. So when you are worshipping the Supreme, then actually there is no point in worshipping other Devi Devatas. But yes, again, I say that if in your family tradition, like if your parents or your grandparents, they have been worshipping somebody else, and there is a conflict that if you suddenly start, following Krishna, then sometimes there is a problem in the house. So you can continue doing what they suggest you to do. But at the same time, you add Krishna in your life. That is what I generally suggest to everybody. You can simply add Krishna. I'm not asking you to subtract any Devi Devta. I'm just asking you to add Krishna in your life. And slowly you yourself will come to an understanding that how just worshipping Krishna is sufficient. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Hare Krishna. It's been just 2 weeks that she started her
Yeah,
classes.
so you can be regular and you can read the previous PPTs which I constantly share in the group. You can read and you can subscribe to the Zoom channel, to the ISKCON channel, YouTube channel, and you can watch previous recordings if you have. You can quickly catch up with whatever you have missed.
She started the Bhagavad Gita first.
No, that will be very difficult to understand. That will be very, anyways, if somebody is teaching some other group, some other deaf group, they're taking Bhagavad Gita, then you can join. Not a
No,
problem.
the videos, Mataji, Bhagavad Gita videos.
Okay. So if they're easy for you to understand, yes, you can. But that I feel that's little difficult to begin with. It's okay. You see how you are.
Same like the book, Mataji, same like the book. So it understands. I
Okay.
understand.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
So all the different Navgrahas, right, Mataji? So like Saturn, Uranus, Jupiter, and all of that. Horoscope. Ketu. So there is some fighting 12, 1. I mean, these numbers, how they do it. So
He's generally asking about the horoscope thing, I think.
Yeah, it is some kind of a diagram.
The horoscope, I think, is the horoscope chart, I think he's talking about. So what is the question?
I think he's trying to understand what is his. I think he's trying to say, Mataji, that the horoscope, how does it work basically?
So there is, I think,
One minute,
Madhura
Mataji, I just want to clarify. The positioning of the. How does it work? Does that work basically?
Okay. See, when is the horoscope made? Horoscope is made when the child is born. Which means horoscope belongs to that particular body. So tomorrow when a person dies, the body is no longer there. Do you think there is any relevance to the horoscope? So there is nothing wrong. It's a proper science. This making of horoscope or astrology that we call it, It's called the science of astrology. I just type it.
Yes, Mataji.
It is called the science of astrology, right? So now this is proper science. There is nothing wrong in it. It is correct. The point that I'm trying to make it is that this we are trying to worship Krishna because we want to come out from the suffering of repeated birth and death. Now, this astrology or this horoscope is of the body. It is not of the soul, right? Once the body is not there, there's no relevance of your horoscope. So why we don't recommend, I mean, if there is any problem in your life, you can get a checkup, you can get a horoscope made. But for any problem, then you go back to Krishna. That Krishna, I have such and such problem. You just chant, you just pray. And Krishna being the Supreme Lord, he'll look
I
after
have
that
a
also.
horoscope, Mataji. I have a horoscope.
Yeah, correct. So what I'm trying to say, instead of worshipping different Navagrahas for your problems, go to Krishna. And not go to different grahas, the the demigods who look after those grahas. That is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So devotees don't wear them.
Yeah, so I think some Pandit got a horoscope and told him to wear this and
Yeah,
all of that.
correct. So many people do that. So devotees won't wear them. The only thing devotees will wear is Tulsi Mala, and they're totally dependent on Krishna's mercy. What is this? I don't know. What is this? Narsimhadev.
Hmm.
Kavacham. Narsim Kavacham. Protector,
No,
I think.
something Hanuman. This is also Hanuman, no, Mataji. Ram
Oh,
Sita
acha,
on the
acha.
chest.
Okay.
So something he's wearing regarding that also.
Okay. So we recommend only taking shelter of Krishna or Lord Ram. So we can take some other question. Can take Ravi's question. Yes. He has some problems in his family. It's difficult for him to ask questions.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. It's very nice. I think what's trying to say that I understand the stories and it's very nice. I'm really happy to be part of these classes. And he was
Thank
saying
you.
he was saying Anutama Mataji. Yeah, your stories are very, very nice. They make me really, really happy.
Haribol. So he's very serious in his devotional life. He really wants to practice, but unfortunately, he has a lot of problems in his family. But yes, I pray that may he gets all the time blessings of Krishna, and may he always get support from his family. That's my sincere prayers for him. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Mataji. So Krishna's real parents, Devki and
Vasudev.
are they Devki and Vasudev? So both of them, did they die? Were they alive? Where did they go after their death, Mataji?
Yeah, so they once Kansa was died, they were relieved from prison, and they had a very nice life after that. And one of the Bhagavatam stories also narrates that Krishna returns all the sons who had died, they come back also. So, anyways, they were not normal people, as I had been telling. They did not die. They go back to Krishna in his where Krishna lives. So, after finishing this birth, they go back to Krishna in Krishna's abode. But they had a very wonderful life when Kansa died and Krishna uh, freed them from the prison. And actually, all those people who were present with Krishna when Krishna himself was there, all of them went back to Golok.
How come, Mataji, we don't find many photos of Devki and Vasudev? We have so many
Yeah, the
photos
only
of their.
photos you can find is of in the ISKCON books. You can find some photos, but actually we worship more Yashoda because Yashoda was the one who took care of Krishna. The birth giving mother was Devaki, and the the mother who actually enjoyed Krishna's childhood was Yashoda. So that is why we find more pictures of Yashoda because she was the one who took care of Krishna entire life. But you can find couple of them in ISKCON books, in Bhagavad Gita or in other some posters. Yeah, not much. Yes.
Yeah,
Hare
don't get
Krishna.
to see that. No.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah, it's time. So we
Yes.
can wind up the session. So please do, I personally request all of you to please fill up the Google form which I sent. So it's very important for me to understand whether you want certificate or not. I don't know, but I really want to know the status of your chanting. I want to see the progress that how you people are progressing in chanting, whether you have moved from ever since past 1 year, you have moved on from, 2 rounds to 3 rounds or to 4 rounds. So that is very important for me. And that information I get from Google Form. So please, whenever I release the form, please fill it up and send it to me. I definitely will be giving certificates for attending the classes, but it will also make me aware of your level of chanting. So please fill that form. That is very important for me. Right. So thank you so much. And we'll finish this class here.